Have you ever found yourself in a room full of people, surrounded by noise, yet feeling completely alone in your thoughts? Not because you're antisocial, but because the things that move you, questions you ponder, the patterns you notice, the depth you seek, seem to pass through others like air. You're not imagining it. This is the paradox of clarity. To see is to often stand alone. Throughout history, thinkers who dared to look beneath the surface weren't celebrated at first. They were ignored, mocked, or even feared. Not because they were wrong, but because they revealed truths the world wasn't ready to face. Let's start a journey of knowing why deep thinking can be misunderstood.
The curse of seeing too much.
Clarity feels like a gift until you realize how isolating it can be. You start noticing things others overlook, the hypocrisy in casual conversations, the fear behind the small talk, the emptiness behind society's grand illusions. To most, life is about chasing comfort, security, status, and success. To the deep thinker, life becomes a search for meaning, and in that search, you slowly begin to lose your place in the tribe. Why? Because society thrives on consensus, and thinking deeply is an act of rebellion against consensus.
The mirror effect.
Psychologists talk about something called the mirror effect. When someone walks into a room with physical beauty, people might feel admiration. When someone is wealthy, envy might spark. But when someone possesses intellectual depth, something else happens. People feel exposed, insecure, even threatened. Why? Because intelligence isn't just about knowing facts, it's about questioning assumptions. And when you question assumptions, you inadvertently question the identities people have built on them. That's why a deep thinker's silence can be more provocative than another's loud opinion. You don't have to say anything. Your presence alone becomes a mirror that others are afraid to look into.
Why society rejects depth.
It's tempting to think that if your ideas are smart or insightful enough, people will eventually listen, but that's rarely the case. Our brains are hardwired for comfort, not complexity. For most of human history, survival meant fitting in, not standing out. In a tribe, being accepted meant safety. Being different meant danger. And that ancient wiring still controls us today. So when someone enters a room and starts questioning what everyone else has quietly agreed upon, it triggers something primal, not just intellectual resistance, but emotional defense. Egos flare, walls go up, and the thinker is pushed to the margins, not because they're wrong, but because they disrupt the social balance.
Why clarity hurts more than it heals.
There's a tragedy here. The smarter you are, the more you see, the harder it becomes to unsee. You notice the manipulation in marketing, the performance in politics, the fear behind faith. And once you notice these things, you can't go back to ignorance. This doesn't just affect your worldview, it affects your relationships. You crave real conversations. You want to talk about purpose, mortality, freedom, and suffering. But most of the world wants lightness, entertainment, escape. So you end up in rooms where everyone's laughing, but you're quietly drifting, wondering if anyone else sees what you see.
What Schopenhauer understood about the deep thinker.
German philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer once wrote, "A high degree of intellect tends to make a man unsocial." His belief wasn't that intelligence makes people arrogant, it's that intelligence makes people see too much. The illusions that hold society together, status, competition, vanity, become transparent, and once you stop believing in them, it's hard to find joy in them. Most people pursue comfort, but the deep thinker is burdened with the will to truth, even if that truth leads to isolation or pain. And so they live in between worlds, too aware to enjoy the simple, too wise to be understood by the many.
How deep thinkers can survive in a shallow world.
But here's the good news. Solitude isn't a punishment, it's a sanctuary. Deep thinkers don't need the crowd, they need meaning. They don't need attention, they need truth. And while society may not always welcome them, the universe has a strange way of guiding them toward kindred spirits. Through books, through art, through philosophy, through silent understanding. So if you often feel like your thoughts isolate you, don't fight it. Use it. Because the world doesn't need more noise. It needs the quiet clarity of those who dare to think.
You are not broken for feeling alone in your thoughts. You are not strange for craving depth in a shallow world. You are simply ahead of your time, and as history shows, the world often misunderstands deep thinkers until it catches up. Stay thoughtful, stay brave, and never dim your light just because others are afraid to see.